Are you really scared of being you? Why? Why does being you kind of scary? Now, it can be a scary sort of being yourself, maybe letting yourself out there. But do you really find just being you scary? Very early. It's not actually that early at all. It's 8 AM. It's not too early. So we'll prepare some lunch, which is going to be a shake basically. It's early, I'm being a bit quiet because everyone else is still asleep. And yeah, Phoenix is coming to work with me today because she's got a training overview thing. So let's get on with this breakfast. So for me, I think when I got into online marketing and started that whole kind of journey, if you like, I suppose it was quite a tricky thing because not so much I felt I knew nothing, but I didn't know anything about the industry, and I was using online and network marketing, and it was odd. So that there's that natural thing to, if you're trying to, say in this case, you know, sell something or promote something in whatever way or experience you have, if you don't know about it, there's a natural thing to sort of cover that up and to not show people that you're new, or you know, that you almost put on that front, and it's sort of odd to kind of, because it feels definitely false to it feels definitely almost wrong. It feels wrong to go, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing, but you know, buy this, because you think the perception is, well, why would people listen to you? You don't know what you're talking about, and so there's that natural thing, the natural feeling to kind of show some sort of bravado and big it up a bit and sort of go, okay, you know, not mention how new you are or how much you don't know, etc. And then you learn, actually, yeah, that's fine. You don't have to sort of make stuff up and talk about you, but you can basically talk about, well, here's someone I know, one of the leaders or upline in the company, and they've achieved X, Y, and Z, etc. And use their stories for the sort of the example of how this system or this company or whatever works. But still, you'll still potentially feel internally that you're not being, you're still kind of holding something back from yourself, because again, it's, you know, I don't know, to be honest, thinking about it, this is going to be quite a sort of a laid bare sort of episode, because thinking about it, I think this sort of opens up a lot of questions about yourself and about how you and how I sort of approach this, because if you think about it, it does highlight the fact that, and this is something which I think is quite difficult to maybe come to terms with, but it does highlight the fact that you or I maybe not doing something that we truly align with, and it aligns with our values, things that we're truly passionate about. And I bang on about this all the time, but this is actually sort of now made me sort of thinking back, that maybe one of the reasons why we don't want to fully be ourselves and show ourselves in relation to this product or this service or whatever is because it's not something that we truly gel with and align with, and therefore there is that natural sort of distance, and we have to therefore put on a front and kind of show that, and therefore no great results because we're not being ourselves, etc. So it's quite an odd one, thinking about it. And maybe it's the fact that I think when I first started, going back so long, 4 years ago, it just seems like, actually does seem like a lifetime ago, thinking about it, and thinking about how I was with it, and what I know now, and the mistakes I can now look back and go, oh my word, that's shocking that I sort of said that and did that. But at the time, you don't know any better, and you don't know what you don't know. That's the reality. And so many people are starting in, whether it's network marketing, affiliate marketing, online business, whatever thing, that sort of home-based business. And when we now, as more experienced people, offer advice and things like that, you kind of, because you don't know what you don't know, it's often hard to then take advice, because in your mind you're not doing anything wrong. So therefore, why would you need advice or training? Because you're not aware that you're doing things wrong. And this is something that I had to sort of come to realization, that in fact of offering help and advice to people, whilst it may be the best thing, if they aren't receptive to it, and there's that natural thing to, oh no, I don't want to buy anything, or I'm getting training from my company, etc., etc. And I was the same. And so there's that sort of, it's not arrogance, that's not the word I want to use, but it's kind of a sort of arrogance, because it's not based on confidence of knowledge, because it's everything's new. So it's quite a weird one. So often you see, and in the space that I work, the sort of network marketing, online business, it almost seems the thing to do, particularly at the moment, that you start a business or you start promoting something, and I think it originally come from the concept of the concept originally come from Ray Higdon, which is invest, learn, teach. So basically it says, invest in something, whether it's time or money or both, learn it and then teach it. And that's a phenomenal concept, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that concept at all, because you're taking some knowledge that you've got through whatever source, whether it's a paid course or a podcast or something you picked up on YouTube, whatever. You learn it yourself and then teach it, because one of the best ways to actually learn and absorb information, something, is to teach it. However, what this sort of leads to is, rather than, and as Ray did it, say back in the day, but when he was doing it, he would learn something, so invest in something, learn something, and then teach it. But he wouldn't teach it as a, I'm the expert in this particular thing. The way he taught it was, here's something I've learnt, or here's something I'm learning. It might be useful for you if you're in the same position as me. Here is the thing. What unfortunately people seem to do now is everybody's an expert, essentially. And so you look on people's profiles, everyone is a social media expert or branding expert, or you just see it everywhere, helping entrepreneurs to be more successful. And it's not the fact of being, aspiring for this sort of thing. It's a blatant lie. I'm just going to be blunt and put it out there, and this may be a bit controversial, but when if someone's put in, I'm helping home business entrepreneurs, whatever, get more success and leads and in their business, are you really though? Are you? Because what have you got to back that up? Now, I'm not saying you can't supply information and help, but it's that sort of terminology of being the expert, and calling yourself the expert when you're not. And so there's nothing wrong with almost like and I hate to say it, the sort of fake it till you make it. It's not that. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that these people are saying, hopefully not you, but are saying they're the expert, but then not displaying expert behaviour and expert traits in the way they're doing things. So it's rather contradictory. And the message that gives to new people is oh, that's what the experts do because they're doing X, Y, and Z. Therefore, that's the way to do it. And it kind of potentially sets people off on the wrong track. And so it's all this bullshit of, I'm the expert, I help entrepreneurs do this, and literally if someone's starting in their business, 10 minutes ago, and suddenly they're the expert, and they're not. They may have some stuff that they're sharing, and that's fine, but they're not helping. It's the terminology, and it's I want to say, let's be honest, let's put it out there, it's the arrogance of it, and having that, and then not having success with it, and sort of wondering why, because I'm doing all this stuff, and but they're not actually doing the stuff. Now it's hard work, there's no doubt about it. This business is hard work, and to have success, it's hard work. It may not be 18 hours a day hard work, if you're Gary Vee, maybe it is, but the point is it's hard work, and it's not so much, again, also the time you're spending in doing the work, it's what you're specifically doing in that time. It's the sort of the task you're doing. Are they, fluffing around on Facebook for 12 hours a day is not building a business on social media. That's just fluffing on Facebook. You can convince yourself you're working, but actually that's not. Are you getting leads? Are you building a relationship with those leads? Are you making sales, or build things up and things like that? That's what makes the money. That's what builds the business. A business ultimately has income coming in, more than more than expenditure. That's a business. It makes profit. If it's just the odd post now and then, and I've been massively guilty of this, especially recently. I've been concentrating on one thing and then just take my eye off the ball and things. And it's a thing, and that's why I'm doing this vlog, to kind of make myself accountable, but also to kind of take people on the journey of what it's really like, the ups and downs. And it's tough when you're working a full-time job, you've got family, and it's difficult. There's no fluffing around it. It's difficult, and time, and that's not an excuse, it's just the fact, and it's the way of getting into the mindset and to create the time pockets to do things and being efficient and working out the best way to do it. And that's the reality, and I'll be honest, I haven't done that yet. I haven't got to that kind of efficient point, and I'm working towards it. And so hopefully this this journey with me will help other people. It's not a as much as I want it to be unicorns and rainbows version, but it's not. It's the reality, and sometimes it is pretty shit, and you feel pretty crappy, and you don't do stuff. And someone who also has done and continues to deal with mental illness, depression, that's also, add that into the mix, it adds a little bit more complex. So I guess it's kind of tricky to say. It's more of some ways a rant. This is quite a different vlog for me. It's more of a kind of like a typical Facebook Live that I have done and do, as opposed to anything else. No B-roll in this one, but it's more sort of straight facts. And it's, I don't know, it just kind of annoys me, and I'm slightly or quite bewildered why let's take that back. It does bewilder me why people just can't be honest, and I'm not talking about scamming people or anything like that, but people aren't willing to be themselves. Now there could be a million reasons why, like I said at the beginning, about maybe if you're new to something and you don't want to appear to be not very knowledgeable, that kind of thing. But there's this thing that, and I think it's just maybe society, this thing of you can hide behind the internet, and you can have this sort of persona of being the expert, but actually you're not. And then the thing is, what people don't seem to realize is putting something on a profile and you're an expert and you help entrepreneurs build their business, etc. But then all of the behavior that goes, that also all of the behavior that's then seen either on your profile or you contacting people or whatever that is, often, and let's be honest, it's much, really often, it's completely contradictory to that sort of title and what people do. If you look at real people who are having real success. Now you've got some big names, a lot of whom I do know well and I'm privileged to call friends. But look at how they conduct themselves and what they do on a daily basis and what they put on their profile. And they might well put, I help business owners create more success, etc. But then look at their posts and what they post. They post on purpose, and how they conduct themselves on their profile and generally on social media online. And you can straight away see by comparison of who is sort of talking the talk and walking the walk, and who is just talking the talk. And it's often just it's amazing why so many people are not getting success, and that's not so much necessarily everyone's guaranteed success, but it's people are not getting success and then kind of bitch and moan about it because they're doing everything that everyone that the big people say to do, and the gurus saying things like that, but actually they're not. They're kind of half-arsing it. They're doing a little bit of it and then expecting the big results. And there's nothing wrong ultimately sort of with not getting results and building up to it, because it takes work, it takes time. But ultimately there's nothing wrong with just being honest about who you are and your journey, which is why I've decided to kind of take this right back to basics almost, and kind of start again after all the kind of health issues I had late last year, and this year's kind of just been sort of recovering from that business wise, and really trying to find out not so much who I am but what I want to do. And it's led me to this, where I just want to take you guys on this journey with me of sort of just documenting that story of sort of having quite a bit of knowledge of good stuff, but then applying that and the difficulties of doing that, and the upsides and the downsides and everything, and putting that into some sort of documented journey. And if it inspires one person, perfect. If anything, worst case, it's just at least it's a way of me being accountable by saying I'm doing this daily. And that's the main point. So I want to create some beautiful masterpiece with some lovely cinematic B-roll in every vlog episode, but sometimes that's not possible due to time and things like that, and that's something I need to work on. Like, this is going to be no B-roll, bang, this is straight to the point, me monologue into the camera. But it's that's the reality of it. If you're unorganized like I am, or disorganized, and haven't managed to film any B-roll today, or kind of plan that properly, again, that's a failing on my planning. So be it. I still want to make the video, therefore I'm making this video. Not maybe as beautiful visually as I'd hope, but I'm getting the message across. So yeah, that's the kind of point I'm wanting to make with this. It's just the honesty thing, and it's we just be honest be honest with yourself, and by being honest with yourself about what you can do and who you are and where you are on that journey, that will people will be able to empathize with that much better than this kind of bullshit falseness saying that you're doing this but actually you're doing this. Because that massively comes across, and when that comes across in what you're doing and how you're talking to people, things like that, then immediately either they feel it subconsciously or consciously, but that then reduces their interest or will to then work with you or buy something from you or whatever it may be, and so therefore the success doesn't come. But by being more honest, there's no sort of pretense. It's just, this is what it is. This is something I'm using, this particular software or training. I'm using it. I'm finding it really useful. Maybe you will too. Rather than I've got this training and I help people and blah. It's like, well, no, you haven't, and you don't, and that comes across as insincere and not very congruent on the way you're turning yourself out. So, bit ranty, but hopefully that's kind of made some sense, and so kind of one sort of shown a bit where I'm coming from, but also said it's maybe a sort of a hard pill to swallow if you are being like that, and you may think, oh, Daz doesn't know what he's talking about, and that's fine. You know, it's my take on it, and it's my thoughts and my opinion, and it's, you know, that's just the way it is. But it's, you know, it might be easy if you just take it and think about it. Think, am I truly being honest with myself? And you can tell me anything. You could tell everyone else. You can tell anyone you want anything. But the only person you can really, or at least shouldn't lie to, we shouldn't lie at all, but it's nothing worse than lying to yourself. And if you're lying to yourself and that pretends to yourself that you're doing this, but then what's the point, really? And when you get out of that kind of cocoon almost of living and believing your own hype, and just go, hang on a minute, this is ridiculous, I'm not there, and there's nothing wrong with not being there if you want to be there, but just admit that to yourself and go, right, let's just be real, let's just be me. And when you're yourself, faults and all, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, and people empathise with you a lot more. There we go. That said, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you have, smash that subscribe and like buttons, leave a comment and share it around, and yep, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we're going to a gig with my good friend Federico. Take care, guys. Bye bye.